Mr. Mayor, and it's really a pleasure to have you here. And I know that you've got to catch that plane, but thank you very much. And I do want to recognize Mayor Villaraigosa for his incredible work on the U.S. Census. We actually brought in the census 25% under budget, had an all-time response rate, and really thanks to the outreach, public service announcements, your personal involvement, all your staff, and really bringing together community leaders, business leaders, religious leaders to really make the 2010 census such a great success. So thank you very, very much. Thank you. And good luck to your daughter as she becomes a Bruin. No, excuse me, a Trojan. It's really a pleasure to be here with all of you, and I want to give a special thanks to all the great people who helped make today's event possible. Obviously, Mayor Villaraigosa and his entire team from his office, but also Dean Ellis of the Marshall School of Business here at USC, and all of the folks at USC. Thank you very much for sponsoring this Asia Pacific Business Outlook Conference. I think the Marshall School has done this for many, many, many years. And also Dick Drobnik, Director of the Center for International Business, Education, and Research. And of course, all of our folks from the U.S. Department of Commerce, our U.S. Commercial Service team, and I see many of you from all around the world here gathered, or at least from Asia. It's really good to see you. The Commerce Department has been partnering with USC and the Marshall School to stage this Asia Pacific Business Outlook meeting for more than 20 years. And these Outlook meetings have a long track record of success, which is why we brought the Commerce Department's New Market, New Jobs Business Tour here today. Of course, as we meet this week to discuss the important business of exports, many of us are also thinking of our friends in Japan, as the mayor indicated, who are dealing with much more immediate and pressing problems. And I join with all Americans in extending our deepest condolences to the Japanese people in the wake of this terrible earthquake and tsunami. And our hearts go out to the families and the communities that have been so torn apart by this unimaginable disaster. And the United States is doing everything it can to help the Japanese people recover. The United States government has deployed disaster assistance response teams that include personnel ranging from nuclear experts to urban search and rescue teams. And we know that this recovery effort in Japan will obviously take many years, but the United States will be there every single year to help out until the job is done. There can be no doubt that Japan will emerge stronger from this crisis. That's the nature and the character of the Japanese people. And there's no doubt that the Asia Pacific region, with Japan at the forefront, will continue to be an economic engine for the entire world. Helping Southern California companies export more to the Asia Pacific region and to indeed other markets all around the world is why we're here on this second stop of our New Markets, New Jobs business tour. And the purpose of this multi-city tour, which will take us to a different city each month for the rest of the next several years, is quite simple. We want to help small and medium-sized American businesses sell more of their goods and services all around the world so they can create more jobs here at home in America. And in the next few minutes, I'll explain how we're going to do that. But first, I think it's really important to identify the stakes of what we're talking about today. In his State of the Union address in January, President Obama said it's very important for America to win the future. And he said the most important contest that our nation faces is not between Democrats and Republicans, but between America and countries all around the world that are competing like never before for the jobs and the industries of the future. And the primary goal of the administration is to give businesses like yours the tools that you need to win in this global economy. On one hand, we're aggressively incentivizing investment right here in America. And that's why the December tax cut pact signed by the President included a feature proposed by the President, the new expensing benefit, which will allow companies to write off 100% of their machinery and equipment purchases made in 2011. 100% write-off. This is the largest temporary investment incentive for manufacturers in U.S. history. And in his State of the Union address, President Obama called for comprehensive corporate tax reform. He said that he wants to work with Congress to get rid of the loopholes, level the playing field, and use those savings to lower the corporate tax rate for the first time in 25 years, all without raising the deficit. And at the same time, the administration is making unprecedented efforts to help companies like yours break into foreign markets. The simple fact is that the more American companies export, the more they produce. And the more they produce, the more workers they need. And that means good-paying jobs, jobs that we badly need in America. Consider that exports directly support nearly 10 million jobs in America, more than 700,000 right here in California. And that 1 in every 3 manufacturing jobs and almost 1 in 5 agricultural jobs is tied directly to exports. And these are good-paying jobs that pay on average 15% higher than the typical wage in America. Exactly the type of jobs that we need more of. And that's why earlier last year, President Obama announced his National Export Initiative, which mobilizes departments throughout the federal government to double U.S. exports by the year 2015, supporting millions of new jobs. And we're already off to a good start. Exports, in fact, have been a key driver of America's economic recovery over the last 2 years, accounting for nearly half of U.S. economic growth since the recession ended in mid-2009. That represents exports' biggest share of U.S. growth over an 18-month stretch period. And exports today actually account for almost 13% of the entire U.S. economic output, which is the highest share of our economy since the Department of Commerce started keeping statistics back in 1929. So exports as a share of the U.S. economy is the highest it's been since 1929. And exports to Asia have been a major part of this top-line increase. Last year, U.S. exports to Asia exceeded those to Europe for the first time. And merchandise exports to Asia in particular were up 27% last year. But there's still plenty of room to grow. And current projections for East Asia's economic expansion in the coming year surpasses 7%. The Asian economies are growing at a phenomenal rate, and that means opportunities for American companies. And the Obama administration wants to ensure that American companies capitalize on these opportunities. You saw a great example last December when President Obama signed a landmark trade agreement with South Korea. And we're working very hard to get this deal through the United States Senate. And if it passes, it could boost annual U.S. exports to Korea by $11 billion per year, supporting and generating some 70,000 American jobs. And America's economic output is expected to grow more from the U.S.-Korea agreement than from our last 9 trade agreements combined. That's the value and the significance of the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement. The United States has also been very active in the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC, the top organization for strengthening regional economic integration in the Asia-Pacific community. This May, the Commerce Department is hosting a major meeting for small and medium-sized companies in Big Sky, Montana, aimed at helping APEC member governments build a better environment in which your companies can operate. And we urge you to attend those meetings in Montana. Small to medium-sized businesses are absolutely critical to expanding American trade with Asia and indeed all around the world. Despite the progress that we've seen in growing American exports over the last 5 years, there is so much more that we can do. Consider the fact that only 1% of U.S. companies export. And of that 1%, 58% export to only one country, typically Canada and Mexico. Simply put, 58% of all U.S. companies that export to only one country, primarily Canada and Mexico. Now, of course, it's important to sell more within the United States. But in a global economy where you have 95% of the world's consumers living outside the borders of the United States, you've got to go where the customers are. And the more markets that you're selling in, the more diversified your customer base is. And that's why U.S. companies that export significant levels generally held up better than companies that didn't. during this past recession. And the truth of the matter is, your made-in-USA goods and services are highly desired and in great demand all around the world. Now, there are plenty of reasons why U.S. companies don't export. They may have trouble getting the financing that they need to produce more of their goods for export. They may be worried about getting timely payment from an unfamiliar customer in a strange land. They may have difficulty understanding and navigating foreign customs and regulations. And they may not have the networks to get the meetings that they need to get potential distributors, customers, or even foreign government decision makers. And the National Export Initiative is designed to help more companies like those gathered here today to overcome all of these hurdles. We understand that when you're running a small, medium-sized business, you're too busy trying to make sure that you can meet the payroll, trying to fill orders, trying to find additional customers here. You might not have the time to go searching for government services that can help your businesses. Well, that's why we're coming to you. And over the last several days, we've had representatives from the Export-Import Bank, the Small Business Administration, even the Department of Agriculture here. And from the Commerce Department, we've got representatives from our International Trade Administration, which advocates for U.S. businesses in 77 countries around the world. And we actually have outreach teams in more than 100 cities here in America. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call 1-800-USA-TRADE. 1-800-USA-TRADE, or go onto our website. Commerce Department experts will work with you to design and implement a market entry or expansion strategy. They'll conduct an international search to find potential agents or distributors for your unique business. And they'll even contact potential customers overseas. Because our foreign commercial service officers and our trade specialists in these almost 80 countries around the world, their sole job is to find buyers and customers for made-in-USA goods and services. Almost to think of it as a matchmaking for exporters. And we'll keep searching for partners and customers for you until you find the right fit. And our local teams can connect you with resources from our other government partners, like the Export-Import Bank. You know, to cite one example of the great work that Export-Import Bank does. I mean, I know that many people around the country, say, oh, if I sell to Massachusetts from California, if I don't get paid, I know how to get legal redress. I'm not too worried about chasing after that company in Massachusetts. But what happens if I export, let's say, to Hungary, or to France, or Germany, or Saudi Arabia, and I don't get paid? That's why I'm worried about exporting. Well, one of the great products of the Export-Import Bank is that they sell products that actually guarantee payment from a foreign customer of yours so that you could sleep at night. Those are the type of services that we offer. And we actually have 2 export assistance teams right here in Los Angeles, and they've got a proven track record of connecting California businesses to foreign markets. If you look at what the work that one of our teams did for Cappuccino Inc., that's a small gourmet coffee mix manufacturing company based in Palm Springs. And since connecting with our commercial service teams, this company has gone from exporting to 5 countries to more than 25 countries. And our team has helped them meet foreign health certificate requirements. We've helped them with due diligence on distribution channels. We've helped them connect to foreign representatives at regional trade events throughout Southern California. And now Cappuccino derives almost half of its sales from exports, almost double what it was 10 years ago. Our goal here this week is to help everyone enjoy this kind of success. And I know that for many companies in Southern California, you're just beginning to see the benefits of an economy that's growing again. And we're positive that the momentum will continue in the years ahead. But one thing is clear. One thing is clear. For the American economy to produce the millions of new jobs that we need in the years ahead, small and medium-sized businesses like yours must lead the way. And when you succeed, the entire American economy succeeds. All of the American people succeed. And the Obama administration will do everything it can to provide you the help that you need. So thank you everyone for coming again, and I guess we're supposed to take a few questions now, is that right? So I'm more than happy to take a few questions, but thank you very much for your great attention and your time.